Ring ring! It's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep into the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host, Luke Lewis, and tonight I'm joined by Queen of the Cozy Game, Claire Lewis.
Hey!
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Sneaker Savant and the Engaged one, Joseph Hooper.
Hello. My prop for today, we got a little Hornet sticker.
Oh,
Straight from
cool
Emerald
sticker.
City Comic Con.
nice.
Enjoy it, everybody.
Love it. And rounding out the full quartet today, it's the 3D printed man, Jacob McCourt.
Hello! For those who are watching on the YouTubes, you've seen me pet a very small 3D printed Growlithe, which is sort of appropriate for our icebreaker today. More on that in a moment.
Beautiful.
Very cute.
Yay.
I'm impressed by the texture.
Yeah.
Like, I feel
Yeah, it
like
looks
most
pretty
3D printed stuff I see is, like, very, like, block oriented, but that has, like, some definition for the video viewers out there.
I mean, we can even get crazy
Ooh.
with a 3D print. That is
That's
a
a
3D
3D
printed
print too?
Jolteon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Why
I'm
can't I
telling you
see
guys,
full
getting
thing
the
for this?
multicolor attachment has been a game changer here, so.
That's awesome.
That
Wait,
is
put
very
it
cool.
put it to. Oh, I see it. Okay. Did you paint that?
No, this is 3D printed multicolor.
Dang, that's
Interesting.
sick.
That's super cool. What's also super cool is this Pokopia business that everyone's been playing, and we're also playing it, so we got to talk about it. Just wanted to status check in today, folks. How long
this
have you
game
been
is-
playing? How are things going? Joseph, kick us off.
All the hours are blending together. This game is like crack cocaine. I can't put it down. Like it's legitimately better than Animal Crossing. Like I'm already ready to say it. Like the systems are just so much better. You have just so much more room for activities. Everything about it, almost everything about it, is better than Animal Crossing. Sure, I miss my charming villagers, even though the Pokemon are great. I miss my villagers and the Tom Nooks and everything. But just from a gameplay perspective, it's so fun to like not only build houses for your Pokemon and decorate them and all that stuff, but like just gathering resources, planting vegetables and fruits and all this stuff, baking, mining. Like it's like the ultimate Minecraft / Animal Crossing game. And good luck to Nintendo when they put out a Animal Crossing sequel, because it's gonna be rough.
How many hours have you played?
I don't know, probably like 10 or so. I'm not sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's rad. Jacob, you've been playing as well?
Yeah, my partner has been hogging the Switch too. Not to call her out, we support her fully. We've been doing a lot of co-gaming this weekend. Me playing on my brand new Steam Deck OLED, and her
Heyo.
playing on the TV with the Switch too. So I've played about 2.5 hours of Pokopia since launch. We're recording this. It's been basically, let's call it 3 days since it came out, and she has played over 15 hours. So I've only seen the initial parts of it, but I'm having a great time with it. Just poking around with my friends. My pokes, and I spent a lot of time terraforming and sucking up junk, and I'm just having a great time with it. It is probably, in hindsight, one of the biggest surprises, I might even say, like, in my adult gaming life, where I had no expectations. I kind of thought this thing was going to be meh. I shouldn't have, given the pedigree of Omega Force. What's the name of the dev?
We're gonna look
Dragon
this
Quest
up. Builder devs.
Yeah, it is Omega Force, given their pedigree, but huge surprise, enamored by it, and I think my partner and I are just going to keep playing it until we've both logged 100 plus hours in this thing.
Yeah,
Claire?
word on the street. It just seems really delightful. Claire, you haven't had a chance to play yet, but I
we
feel
don't
like this
own it.
game was made for you.
Yeah.
In every sense.
For sure. I am going to definitely fall deep into this once we actually pull the trigger. I've been playing some other exciting indies and demos and stuff in the meantime, so
Yeah.
not slacking over here by any means, but
It's
not
just
ready
been-
to give all of myself to something new just yet. You know what I mean?
Fair
like
enough.
that's gonna take
Yeah.
over my whole life.
It truly will.
Gotta
It
do
is a
some
Claire
laundry
ass game.
first.
It's just been fun seeing it like take over the internet.
Everyone's
And
lives,
I
yeah.
think this has been one of the first games since the launch of the Switch 2 where I've seen like a crazy influx of folks finally picking up the console for the first time that didn't already have one. So I think this one's going to sell really well. I think it's going to be a big system seller for folks. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Jacob?
I'd like to say that I now fully understand how game key cards work also. I know this is a past thread that we've talked about on this here program. Truly, it is a license key in a case where you pop it in, and then it just downloads the game, and they say, hey, in order to play this digital version, you need to have the physical card in the Switch 2. But apart from that, it is truly halfway between a download and a physical game. And I think we're going to be talking for the entire year why Nintendo on this one decided to do a game key card. I don't even think they knew this game was going to be as huge as it was, and I wonder if they do a second print and it is not a game key card. That's my prediction that we're throwing out there.
That's too much. That's giving Nintendo too much credit there.
Dumb logistical question, but if I didn't have a Wi-Fi connection, can I download and play this game? Is it downloading from the cart, or is it downloading...
I think it is downloading from their servers,
okay.
And I think the cart just acts sort of as like
a server paying of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Obviously, 2026, most people have access to Wi-Fi, but especially with Nintendo games, I hate to see folks not have access if you're not, or if you're traveling, trying to play on the airplane for the first time or something. So I guess good cautionary warning to people. Right on. Any other Pokopia, Pokemon good of the order, hot takes? One other quick Pokemon-related question before we segue. We had the recent announcement of the new Gen 10 Pokemon game.
We did.
Any thoughts on these starters, folks? Who you picking?
Bomb.
I think Pom Bomb's the answer.
Yeah.
I think Pom Bomb's the answer.
Very cute.
I also like the angry little bird.
Route.
I like the little
Yeah.
gecko-looking guy.
They're all cute, to be honest. There wasn't one that I'm like, oh, that's an odd choice or whatever. It's like, I support this.
But you know what happens?
Intrigued.
They all end up being large and disgusting by the end, so I'm sure Pom
Weird
Bomb will then
15
become...
years. Yeah.
Yeah, what is the ugliest breed of dog? It will just end up becoming that from a Pomeranian. We will see. But I'm the guy who recently played a Pokemon core game because I just finished Scarlet last month, and I don't know about y'all, but they're gonna have to really do a lot here to pull me back in.
That's fair.
I'm a Pokopia stan now. I don't need the mainline games anymore.
I'll build my own.
Yeah, just give me Pokopia 2 instead.
Damn,
Someone had said
praise.
it was the highest rated Pokemon game in the series on Metacritic.
That's true.
It is.
As of
Yeah.
Friday, yeah, which is crazy. That's why, to your point, Jacob, I like the pedigree of the studio was known.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't expect it to break the mainstream in this way because the Dragon Quest builder games never. I mean, they were successful, but it wasn't crazy. But I guess the Pokemon IP does a lot of
heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I guess that team just learned a lot because the systems are genuinely really good. I've seen so many people say, oh, I get it now. People who were talking trash about it ahead of time. I was one of those people who I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks like a ripoff of a bunch of things.
Sure.
And I got my hands on it. I was like, oh, this is
They know
insane.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon Y has an 88 on Metacritic, and Pokopia also has an 88. So I guess now it is tied for the
Not for
highest
long.
Metacritic rating ever. Yeah.
That 88 is going up, I'll tell you right now.
Right on. All right, well, let's jump into our main topic of the show for today. We're chatting all about Steam Next Fest demos. So throughout the month of February and even into January, we've all been playing a bunch of game demos for a slew of games. We have a ton of impressions to share, some for bigger, well-known indies, some lesser-known stuff, some hidden gems that we want to highlight. So we're just going to go around the horn, round-robin style, shout out some games until we've shouted out all the games that we have to shout out. Quite a big list. I can kick things off with, I've probably played the fewest demos of the folks on this panel, but nonetheless still excited to chat about it. I wanted to talk about one that I haven't heard a ton of folks bring up. This is an action racing game called Moto Rush Reborn. Very cool, cyberpunk anime art style. First person, and it's very run-based. You are doing these obstacle challenge courses, blazing breakneck speeds. You're sliding and dodging around obstacles. it's super, super fun. It was one that, like, I saw as I was, like, scrolling the big master trending chart list of Steam Next Fest across, like, 3,000 plus demos. Just caught my eye, and I was like, that sounds like good, mindless fun. And I booted it up, and I was, like, pleasantly surprised by, like, the level of challenge. And I did 10 different runs, and each one had something interesting about it. It kind of reminded me of games like we love Neon White on this podcast, like something where it's like I could see like going back to it, trying to get all the high score points within each run and moving on. Also gave me kind of Ghost Trick vibes in terms of like style and execution, but really fun one that's coming out later this month on the 20th.
Is it lightly
Nice.
on rails, or do you have full control over your motorcycle?
I could see in a prior life that this game was played at like a Dave and Buster's on a literal motorcycle, you know what I mean, in terms of literal control. Like you're propelling forward at all times, but you have full steering control and you're like boosting, sliding, jumping. So like there is some like you are active in playing, but yeah, it is kind of a like constant moving forward. You're not like slowing down and exploring or that kind of thing. Like it's just fluid motion, go go go.
Is it the kind of game that would look really good and like play really great on an iPad?
I could see that. Yeah.
Cool.
Because
This
like
looks sick.
graphically it has a stylized look to it. Like it's not like hyper realistic, but like it looks good for what it is. I would say like very fun color palette, cool lighting effects, dodging in between cars in a satisfying way, and you get the bonus if you're like almost hit or like near misses and that sort of thing, like Burnout crash mode style. But yeah, so that one is Moto Rush Reborn from Balltoro Games, and we'll link all of these games in the episode description below. Claire, why don't I kick it to you? You played
Sure.
a couple demos that I know
Yeah.
you were super excited to chat about. Whichever one you want to start with.
Yeah, I'll kick off mine at least with Collector's Cove, which I've been excited about for a long time, and I got a chance to play it. That the demo was a good length. It was like basically the tutorial for the game. It also, they said that all of your progress from the demo will carry over if you
Sick.
play the full game, which is, we always love that. It's great to not have to replay a tutorial. It was introducing all of the mechanics in the game. Obviously, it's a demo. Kind of felt bare bones at times, but you can also see where that room for growth is, which is great. So yeah, the thing that caught my eye about this one, aside from it being basically like a farming, crafting, exploration sim set on a boat, which is interesting, is that you also have this, like, I don't know, Leopleurodon-esque companion who is driving your boat but is also like your best friend, and you get to like customize their appearance and get them little hats, which is super cute. And playing the demo, also finding that like the core mechanic is becoming besties with them and increasing your friendship in order to get perks. As far as like the exploration and the islands and stuff, it does look like what's going to be in the full game is a little bit more than what was in the demo, which felt very just like means to an end. We're going to get you the tomatoes you need to get through this tutorial. So I'm intrigued what the full game is going to look and feel like, but I had a really good time playing it. Very cozy, very much a Switch game to sit on the couch and play while doing other things, perhaps later on.
Yeah,
Okay.
this
The
one
best
was
part
cool.
is
Very
it's out.
cute.
It's out in 3 days.
now.
Yeah.
It's out in 3 days.
As of the release of this one, yeah, and it's coming to PlayStation and Switch.
Yeah,
as well, which
I'm
is
really excited
rad.
about it being on Switch.
This gives me was it the Wandering Village? that we
Yeah,
played a
Yeah.
couple years
Yeah.
back? Similar energy,
that was
but it looks
more
really
of
cool.
a like
That was
city
like
builder.
city build. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Whereas this one's more like kind of in that Pokopia vein, but I like the world exploration angle and like the creature the tone just looks really
Yeah,
fun
they're
and nice.
checking quite a few boxes between the looks like the farming mechanics and the decorating and upgrading your house and getting cute outfits and exploring too. I hope that there are more characters and more things to interact with as you explore. And so I guess we will see in just a few days. I'm really excited.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
Rad.
Joseph. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jacob.
I just said rad.
Nice. Joseph, you played a metric shit ton of demos. Forgive my language. What do you want to start with?
I'll start with Replaced.
Okay, cool.
Replaced is a game I think, a lot of people who have, follow the indie scene are aware of. It's one of those games where nobody really knew what was going on. The devs are based in Ukraine, so understandably there were a lot of delays to the game. But even when the game was first revealed, it was one of those situations where you didn't know how real what you were seeing was. Like the art style was really kind of stunning, but were they going to keep that up through the whole game? Was this game even real at the point where we saw the demo? Nobody really knew. But the demo's out, and the game is going to come out in a little over a month, and it's legit. I played through the demo twice, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's very stylistic. All the things that you see in the trailers are exactly how it plays out in the game. There are a ton of like little cinematic moments as you're playing. Like, for example, there was a moment where I was like looking at a sign that was saying, "Oh, welcome to whatever city this is," and as I was looking through the sign, like a bolt kind of flew through the sign, blowing me back, and like the camera zoomed in on the bolt, and like everything else was kind of blurred in the back. It was like super cinematic and cool, which is I really love like everything about the style of this game. And then the combat also, which could have been iffy, very Batman Arkham-esque, where you'll see the like yellow thing over somebody's head as a warning, and then you can take that to be ready to counter. You'll have the red thing over their head to say, oh, this is not a counter, so you have to dodge out of the way. And as you beat up enemies, you build up like your finisher with your like service weapon style gun, and like you get to pull off these really cool finishers in the middle of the action. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to play the whole game. I'm hoping, I don't expect it to be that long, maybe like a 7-hour story or something, or maybe even shorter, who knows, but I'm absolutely going to play this entire thing. The vibes are immaculate. The music is great. Just really looking forward to it.
How Arkham-y is the combat? Because I had heard someone else compare the combat to like obviously a very light third person but flat version of Arkham. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah. Yep, 100%. It's like not that involved. Like it's more of like, hey, I'm gonna play this, and the combat's, at least from the demo, wasn't that hard, so I'm just gonna try and be as stylish as possible. Was kind of how I played it. I can see it being harder. Like there's a boss fight at the end, which wasn't hard to me, but I'm sure like later in the game the boss fights might be a little crazier. But it's pretty simple combat.
Nice. I'm glad to hear
really
it's
cool.
like holding up, because like this
Yeah.
game has always looked cool, but we've always kind of had questions just of like, will it be as good as it looks, or the development cycle keeps changing, delays, and yeah, I want this game to be kick-ass, and I want the team to have a hit, so
Yeah,
really
this
looking
is gonna
forward
do
to
pretty
it.
well, I would imagine.
Rad, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Continuing the train, Jacob, what do you have for us?
Did you do that on purpose?
I was hoping he did that on purpose.
If you take the segue, I did it on purpose.
I'm taking the segue.
Amazing.
I'm going to talk about Denshattack. We've talked about Denshattack on the show before, but obviously now there's a demo that you can play on Steam. This one's out in June. It is essentially a mix of Jet Set Radio Future, Jet Grind Radio, and like a Tony Hawk, where you play as a Japanese-style like train that travels between post-apocalyptic dome cities. But your job is to make deliveries, but also make lots of tricks, get points, and in some cases, race towards these dome cities. I was apprehensive where it's really going to come down to how the core of it feels. And I am happy to report, and I think more than one person here has played this demo, the train feel good. And so
yeah.
I'm excited for this. It seems like a great Steam Deck game. that maybe could also, not to bring it back to mobile games, but could do great on an iPad also, if it decides to come to iPad eventually. But this one's coming to everything, including Steam, and I'm just stoked to play Denshattack. Joseph, you played this one too, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, this one, I also played this one 2 to 3 times as well. This is sick. I mean, it's very Tony Hawkish, where you have a ton of combos that you can pull off, and it's all about, having style while also making it through the level. And yeah, I just like how bad shit the game is. Like, even through the demo, you're on a Ferris wheel, you are in a volcano. Like, it's just like the amount of insane that you're like doing tricks over the freaking heads that I don't know the name of the heads, like the little, Easter Island heads, like just stuff like that. It's just wild. And I think regardless of if you're a combo person who will probably get hours of replayability out of this, or just like somebody who just likes crazy wild things, you're going to have a good time with this one.
Nice. Are the runs quick? Like, what's the...
Yeah, the levels are pretty short.
Couple of minutes.
Okay, cool.
Unless you fail a whole bunch, and what's nice is if you do fail, you miss a jump or whatever, or hit an obstacle, the game just kind of reloads you really quickly, and you can just keep going. And there didn't seem to be that many, at least in the starting point, detriments or problems if you make a mistake.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, this one's been on my radar, but excited to hear it plays well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gaz.
So fun.
Speaking of playing well, may I gush about Super Meat Boy 3D for a moment?
Yes, you may.
Excellent. So, y'all got a chance to play this earlier in the fall around PAX West, but this was my first time getting hands-on with it, and as a huge fan of the original Super Meat Boy, I was just so happy playing this. I had such a fun time. It's pretty freaking difficult, which is exactly what I wanted for this type of game, and I got in a flow state by the end of it. I played probably 6 or 7 levels. There was
6, 7. Sorry.
Nice variety, but I thought the moveset translated into 3D quite well. It's a little floatier than I would say the Meat Boy games were, but I think that almost kind of makes sense in the 3D space. But I think the run feels really good, the wall running, and getting just in the flow state. My favorite little detail that they add to is when you watch the level replays back, just like in the original Super Meat Boy, you see all the little Meat Boys running together if it took you multiple attempts to beat a given run. And in a 3D sequence, it just looks so hilarious and fun. So, yeah, I can't wait for this one. It's going to be a day one play for me, but for fans of 3D platformers, I feel like we're eating real good this year with things like Demon Tides or Big Hops, Meat Boy 3D coming. Yeah, just really, really enjoyed it. I would say this one's pretty freaking hard, though, so not for the faint of heart, but definitely worth a play if you're looking for a challenge.
I played it this past weekend. I couldn't beat it in the time that we played it earlier last year, and I beat it this time, but I was triggered for sure. Some of the platforming, the perspectives makes it a little tough, I will say. I'm curious how that scales, because some of the perspectives I need to go deeper into the screen. I don't know, and I couldn't really do it perfectly because it's all flat, but I need to go backwards into the screen to properly land on a wall or something like that. So it's going to be triggering for sure.
Yeah, and it feels like a hard game. It doesn't feel like a type of platformer where you're doing perfect runs on run one. There's probably crazy people out there doing that, but I felt like part of it was trial and error, and part of it was kind of learning the level in a Souls-like way that I appreciated. I made it to... Because there's the initial forest levels, and I got to the toxic waste levels, which ratcheted up the difficulty, and the timing of the wall runs was getting crazy, and things were getting wild, but very cool game. Excited to see more from this one.
The camera does look a little far away in some of these videos that we're seeing.
He's just a little guy. It's like I think they're trying to touch on, because if you think back to the original Meat Boy, it was like a pixel blob on screen, and that I think was part of the appeal. So I think they're leaning into that. But yeah, we'll see how it plays like across the final game, because in a demo, really satisfying, but will I be frustrated after 10 to 12 hours of a full campaign? Who's to say? But looking forward to it. Claire, where do you want to take us next? Shall we go on a road trip, perhaps?
Yes, for sure.
I'll see myself out, everybody.
You're doing great. You're doing so good.
A lot of cozy games on my end. I was obsessed with the demo for Outbound, which also comes out in full very soon. Super stoked about that, because for the entire week after I played this demo, I could not stop thinking about it and how I wanted to go back and play it. I was like, do I just go back and play the demo again? I wasn't sold right away. It was a bit of a slow burn for me, because the collecting, not collecting, but the like scavenging, foraging for materials and stuff, did feel a little bare bones at first. I was a big fan of all the customization options right off the bat, that you could, you start by you can make your bus your own color, get some potted plants in there right away. I stopped, or the demo just ended with the unlocking of being able to build things on top of your camper van. And it looks from the trailers like that is just the beginning, and there is so much that you can do. I thought all the systems of like finding things and then, crafting and upgrading your materials and needing to, and then the loop of finding the different things in the distance that you see and interacting with the environment and finding collectibles, like the cute little hidden gnomes throughout the world, or the gacha machines. I just felt really like into that gameplay loop where there was always something new for me to check out, a new radio tower to go find, and that coupled with what looks like you get to do a lot of things with the building and customization, and then it's just good cozy vibes where you are just out in nature, and it's really pretty colorful. It was really pleasant, and I'm excited to play it some more.
Do you get an idea of what the final, or like what the end goal is, or is it very cozy and it's just like vibes, man?
No idea. I don't know. Looking at these trailers, there's like other people, and other biomes, so they could be introducing some more. But from what I could tell from the demo, it was just like we're just gonna drive around, build shit, and have a good time.
Sounds like
Looks
Pokopia to me.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm just walking around building shit.
it kind of looks like it could strike that itch of like RV There Yet that came out last year, like kind of the viral friend slop hang game, not in a bad way.
Well, there is multiplayer,
Yeah.
so
This one was like crazy viral. I was keeping an eye on Steam Next Fest charts throughout the week, and this was like regularly top 50, top 10, like most days. So I think it really picked up some steam. So excited to see.
I think that I could have kept playing and kept building. I reached the edge of the world. I'm not sure if resources respawn or anything. But like I could imagine getting real into building things on top of that roof. Looks like you have a lot of possibilities for expansion. Yeah, I'm stoked for this game. I feel like it makes sense that it took off because it was fun.
How's the driving feel?
I usually don't do very well with driving in games unless it's Mario Kart. I just always go too far to the left, and then I go too far to the right, and then I'm constantly swerving back and forth. And I felt like it was fine. It didn't feel
played
bad.
Caravan Sandwich last year, and the van controls were okay, but because it was only one part of the gameplay, where leaving your van and exploring was more core, it was okay. But it needs to, from the sound of it, van need to drive good, and it seems like van drive good.
And also you can decide if you're going to do it in third person or from the driver's seat. I did my demo in like from behind the van, and then you can't see your cute little bobblehead. So I think I'll play the real game from the driver's seat.
Nice.
But the handling didn't feel like a problem, but it also didn't feel like it could become a problem. Like, I don't necessarily see this being a platforming your van across a narrow ravine or you die type of game. So I wasn't concerned with the controls of the van to begin with,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that one. That's
Outbound.
Outbound from Square Glade Games, April 23rd.
So
That's their release date. So not too far off. Got a steady stream of games for the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph, what do you got next for us?
I'm gonna go out of order here. Let's go with Phonopolis. This game was pretty unique. I just loved how creative this game was. It was very hey, this is a work of art. These people really poured their heart and soul into this. It had vibes of that game a couple years ago where it was all yarn or something, and there was an octopus and it was underwater and it had a green look to it. We know the game, everybody. We all know the game. And while Jacob is looking it up, I'm going to talk about Phonopolis. So the idea of this game is that, hey, this whole little city, they all are controlled by this fascist type, mind control type society where the government is shouting commands through these loudspeakers, and people are automatically tuned to listen to them and do whatever the government tells them to do. And this one character subsequently just happens to break out of the mind control, finds a pair of headphones or something like that, and kind of discovers the problems with the society they're in, and kind of, I guess, starts to rebel a little bit. The game is gorgeous. All of the game was kind of a lot of the assets in the game were hand cut out of cardboard, painted in real life,
so
Oh,
and then
cool.
Digitized into the game, which is really cool. So there's a really, really strong artistic approach to it. It's kind of like a point and click game, which might not vibe for some people, but it's pretty fun in terms of the puzzles that you're solving. For example, one puzzle was I needed to get this to the specific apartment, but there were a bunch of obstacles in the way, and so I had to click and drag this house to affect what was going on in the particular scene. So I would break a pipe, and then the plumber would leave his house to go fix that leak, and then there was another lady who would clean up spills, so I would cause a spill and she would move around. So it's just really interesting stuff like this. The game seems like it'll be fairly, I mean, that puzzle was pretty hard, but the game seems like it'll be fairly simple, and it's going to be more about the story and just the art and the experience. So I highly suggest people check out this demo. It was pretty short. It was fantastic though.
Wow, and it's in 12 frames per second to give it a stop motion look.
Yeah, it does have that stop motion-y look to it. Jacob, do you know what game I was talking about?
No idea.
Harold Halibut. It just came
Oh,
out.
hey-
Holy
that's
crap.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
greeny
Crap,
look.
yeah.
It doesn't have an octopus, does it?
Yeah,
It has an alien.
There's a
Maybe.
tank. Yeah,
In
something
my
like
head,
that.
I was thinking of an octopus. But
Yeah,
yes,
no, I was gonna. Yeah, the visual
From Slow Bros, yes.
Yeah. But the attention to detail, I think, definitely comparable there. But yeah, this looks crazy.
So cool.
This
Yeah.
wasn't on my radar at all, but it also looks like this was in Day of the Devs
Oh, nice.
last year, or no, 2 years ago. So maybe we saw it there. It looks vaguely familiar, but this looks really cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
on if you go to YouTube, they have a video up of a little bit of inside their process of how they made the game and stuff like that. It's really cool. I highly recommend checking it out because this team is doing some really crazy stuff.
I'm a sucker for this era of real world crafts become crazy visual game.
Me too, yeah.
More please. But yeah, this looks awesome.
What was the one that closed the 6-1 Indie Showcase that had about
Oh
fire?
gosh, the fire one. Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I can poke around for a second while we're... Do you want to talk about your other game, Jacob, and I'll find the fire game that we're thinking of?
Yes. Let me talk about my my first. I'm going to talk about a pair of games really fast, actually, and they are both sort of rogue games, so I think it's appropriate to do them as a pair. First, I would love to talk quickly about Cursed Words, which is the word game that I brought. It's very much like a cross between Balltoro and Boggle, except there are also Muppets, where you just have to, it's a 5x5 grid of letters that all have Scrabble-esque scores attached, and essentially you just have to make the highest combo possible and get past a increasingly high ceiling for your round. You can essentially place 5 words, and that's what will end up scoring you for the round. So I played the demo, and it's one that I had uninstalled. I played it on my PC. It doesn't have cloud saves, obviously, because it's a demo. Uninstalled it and then said, shit, I want to play this game some more, and then installed it on my Steam Deck and played probably another half an hour on my Steam Deck. So cursed words for my word game sickos. This is the word game of the year, if you will. I loved it, and it looks to maybe have a little bit of like weird character stuff going on. I don't think it goes full like My Friendly Neighborhood, but it's got some fun, cute little dialogue in there. So that's cursed words. And the other roguelike that I'd love to talk about is RACCOIN.
Oh, yeah.
Which, did you play that one too, Claire?
No, but I did see a certain someone's video about it.
Yeah, Hoop, you go first then.
No, I mean, actually, I want to hear your thoughts. First.
If you remember those old coin pushers from arcades, it is an entire roguelite built around pushing the most amount of coins down to improve your score and make it past increasingly high levels of rounds until you win. Obviously, there are power-ups too. I think the interesting mechanic, besides all the different trinkets and coins that you can throw, so you can throw coins that do certain things to the other coins, and then also power-ups that help you in certain ways. The mechanic that surprised me that actually makes this thing more interesting to me is there's almost like a risk reward with eventually you will have to push more coins in and you will have to trade your tickets to get more coins, but you need a certain amount of tickets to clear the round. So at a certain point you could be patient and just see if your coins get pushed down into the tray, or you can be impatient and trade some of your tickets for more coins. That was the coolest little mechanic that I wasn't expecting. But Hoop, I don't know, did you like this one? I liked it. I didn't say those words.
I did like it. It was one of those like brain scratchy games where I was like, oh, this is just cool to like watch the coins get pushed down, and like I'm kind of just like mesmerized. It was one of those games where I was like, because you're kind of waiting a little bit, it was kind of like, okay, is the round over or should I wait a little bit longer? Sometimes it'll tell you, hey, you're out of coins, like you might as well just end the round, buddy. But sometimes you're just kind of waiting there. So it's kind of this push and pull of like, I don't feel like it's the most like strategic, or maybe I just didn't know the best strategies to make everything work really well. But I think it was a really cool concept, and like all the interactions and stuff can obviously get really crazy as the game goes on. I hate these games in real life. Like these games are insane. Like the first time I saw these, I was like, "What the heck? You want me to put my own quarters in or my own tokens for what? For the chance to win a couple more tokens? Like this is insane." So I'm glad they have a game where you can kind of win virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of makes me think of that game that came out a year or two ago, Ballionaire. That took a like carnival game concept that I don't really think about anymore as an adult, but then kind of game like roguified it in a cool way.
I loved Ballionaire. That was a sick game.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Doubling back real quick to the fire game we were trying to think of, Jacob. Pyrofauna?
Yes.
Is the name of that one that has like, it's like paper mache-ish, like handcraft visuals, but super cute little game. It looks like it could be a Pixar short in terms of like art fidelity for that one.
Pyrofauna, yes.
Highly recommend. Folks, check that one out as well. Moving back up to my list, I want to talk about the obvious heavy hitter that was like a must play on my radar. Vampire Crawlers. Finally made some time to sit down and play this. I gotta be honest, I was a little skeptical going in, even being a fan of Vampire Survivors to the extent that I am of it. It's just like, I'm not a huge dungeon crawler guy, first person. Will I enjoy this? But Poncle continues with another hit, in my opinion. Once you get kind of the gameplay loop down, I entered a flow state with this one and was just quickly moving through things and doing different card manipulations and combinations. And in similar Vampire Survivors fashion, you're unlocking characters and abilities as you're going through this world. But it was also kind of fun and novel to see the Vampire Survivors world realized in a 3D space. Joseph, I think you played this one as well.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up for me. Like, it was, I didn't really get it at first.
Yeah.
Like my first run through, but like, it's really kind of based on this combo system of like, you want to always play a card that's like one higher level than the previous card you played. And if you continue the streak of your combo, your cards basically get power bonuses. So once I figured that out, I was kind of just rolling, and it was kind of like that, oh man, if you get the right build, you do kind of feel like a god type situation. I'm gonna lose some hours to this one for sure. I had a lot of fun with it.
I think it'll be another solid Steam Deck game, and I think this one's also coming to mobile. I don't know if it's day and date with console and PC, but that's their plan eventually. So, yes, very excited to add this one to the rotation.
Jacob, did you say something?
The visual style on it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's nuts, yeah. Well, and it's like, I think it was the Fire Escape podcast crew that referred to Vampire Survivors as lizard food, but this is like 3D-ified lizard. There's just so much happening when you stare at the screen of like the colors and the number of enemies and then the card effects. And I also like the little UI touches they did where it just like, it looks like you could be playing this at an old school arcade cabinet in a Pizza Hut, and I think that's kind of neat aesthetically. So yeah, super, super stoked for that one. We don't have a date yet. Fingers crossed it's this year. The demo played incredibly well, so I feel like if the full game is up to par, I would expect to see this one at some point, maybe this summer.
SGF drop. We're calling it now.
It makes perfect sense. I have no insider information, but it'd be very cool. Claire, kicking it back to you. Did you have any other ones you want to shout out?
I can give a quick shout out to one other game that I demoed, which I did also demo at PAX West back in September. But at that time, I kind of jumped on after someone had already started the demo, and it was kind of a weird place. So I was like, I don't get this. So I wanted to give it a try from the beginning. And that's Atmosfar, which has been pitched as having a lot of the survival, foraging, crafting elements of like Subnautica is actually how it was pitched to me, which I don't know why, because this is not involving any form of water. But it actually kind of gave me like indie Starfield vibes almost at the beginning, and I think that part of that was just like the music was very Starfieldy. The collecting forage, it's another one of these. I've had a theme this this next fest. Seems like there's characters, though there's other people that you're gonna meet. It felt gameplay wise a little rough. There were some frame rate issues, some like weird camera things, and just like knowing what to do and finding the right resources that you needed to survive felt just a little bit like it didn't quite land in the sweet spot for me, which is fair. Not every game is for every person. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe when the full game comes out, it'll be a different story. And I think that there's a certain kind of player who would like what this game has to offer. A little bit more platforming involved. The platforming itself didn't feel great to me. There's some like spaceship driving, which I'm not great at flying mechanics ever. I don't know. It didn't blow me away.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
The visual style looks like the setting looks cool. I like jetpacks.
All the trailers and screenshots I see of it, I'm like, this looks cool. And then I go to play it, and it doesn't quite look like that. So
okay,
yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
played this at PAX West, and it didn't blow me away either. And it did not really resemble what's in this trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better with 2 people because it is co-op. So.
Yeah, or maybe it's just still early, and I'll get there
that's
eventually.
also possible.
All right. We'll keep an eye on
When we played
Atmosfar.
Astroneer, it seems like maybe more like a grown up version of
Yeah.
Astroneer.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what they're going for, I think. Yeah, like tonally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is way less like farming in space, base building, and way more like there's a narrative and there's a goal and there are things we're trying to accomplish.
Nice.
Sweet. Joseph, it's back to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a little 2-for-1 here. Talk about
Please
a couple
do.
CRPGs. I'm gonna talk about Esoterric Ebb as well as Zero Parades. So starting with Esoteric, I guess I'll start by saying, yeah, CRPGs are gonna be hitting in a really big way this year because I think both of these games are quite good. Esoteric Ebb is basically Disco Elysium but fantasy setting. The tone on it I think is perfect, where if you're failing, it's really humorous, and if you're doing really well, then it's just like a really cool like fantasy story with politics and religion and all these certain things. So the premise is that you are one of the worst clerics in the realm, like you suck, and cleric as in like more of a magic type user. And you're kind of just building your legacy. So you can either lean into that and just be terrible and kind of fail upwards or fail your way through the story, or you can just become like OP god level magic user and kind of like destroy everything. I really enjoyed it. Like it was kind of one of those things where I'm talking to this random bodyguard and I'm like, hey, give me your crossbow, and I roll for it and it works, and he just gives me his crossbow because he's stupid, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Or there's like other times where like I'm trying to talk to a zombie and I'm trying to roll to have a conversation with the zombie, but I keep failing, so he just keeps moaning and groaning or whatever to me. It's gonna be great. I mean, it's already out and it's already done really well.
Nice.
That's why when I played this, I grabbed it in our fantasy league because I was like, holy crap, this is
Yeah,
very,
you grabbed
very
it about
good.
2 or 3 days before the cutoff for it.
Yeah, and it's I think it's like an 88 or an 89.
Yeah, it's been reviewing really well.
Yeah, so that one's great. Zero Parades is the one that has like all the controversy because it's Zaum, which had the whole falling out with the developers and the creatives and all these things, and now there's 3 different developing studios that splintered from this one. That being said, I don't know who's left in Zaum or what they're doing over there, but Zero Parades was definitely hitting the right notes for me. Once again, it's like Disco Elysium, but Spies in this case. And I really, really like the tone of the game, because there's just something about like rolling for initiative and stuff that in my head just works really well with like the spy genre, especially because you have like all these things happening in your head, and it kind of feels Sherlock Holmesy in terms of like rationalizing everything. And I guess Disco Elysium was a little bit that way as well because you were a cop, but even more so here, it feels like you're kind of leaning into it. The game kind of starts off with you being a retired like Mission Impossible agent type thing, and you wake up and all of a sudden your partner's just like unconscious or like a vegetable type situation. You don't know what's going on, and your handler is like, hey, you got to come back, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, like Miles Morales said in that one Spider-Man movie. And then you kind of just go and you kind of go off and like try and solve this mystery yourself. This is gonna be a hit. This is another one where it's like, I know there's a lot of controversy, so that might get in the way of things, and it's going to have a lot of comparisons to Disco Elysium, which I think is not great for this game. I think if it could just stand on its own, it would be better. But despite all those things, I think people are going to really, really enjoy it.
I think
these
this will
both
be
look
the
really
year I
cool.
play Disco. I will play Disco this year, so maybe it'll be a situation of I play Disco this year and then go, man, I need more CRPGs. I played Duskpunk and Citizen Sleeper 2 in the last 2 years, which are like, I think feel like light versions of what this game is putting together and Esoterric are putting together. But is this going to be my CRPG year? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. You got two great new ones to pick from, and especially Disco Elysium. If you haven't touched that one yet, you got to touch that one.
I feel like I'm more inclined to jump into Ebb just because the tone has me really intrigued, where these other ones just seem...
Yeah.
Disco Elysium as a whole, at least as an outside perspective, it just seems like a really dense book, where it's like, I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure it's some of the best writing in gaming, but it's like really hard for me to metaphorically crack that spine and start the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. That is kind of how it is, where it is like some heavy reading type. We're really waxing poetic in some situations, which is a little bit tough to get through, but
Sure.
yeah, Esoterric Ab, a little less intimidating from that standpoint for sure.
Cool. Well, super excited for both.
Yeah,
Before we jump
definitely.
into some quick rapid fires, any other highlights, mentions? Go to the order.
Yeah, I'd love to just quickly talk about Forbidden Solitaire. This is one that I played and really enjoyed. This is the next game from the folks who are who had done Home Safety Hotline, and it is very much a 90s like myth inspired visually, but weirder, in a solitaire game where you have to kind of make your way through what appears to be like, you know, some sort of dungeon situation, but then like their games, there's like a meta game layer on top where there's people complaining about like, this violent solitaire game and the kids, think about the kids. And so I'm stoked for it. It's I played Home Safety Hotline last year, loved it, and so I played the demo here and also loved it. It was one of those games where I played for about 10 or 15 minutes and went, I'm gonna stop because this is entirely my shit, and I'm just gonna play the full game when it comes out in the next month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Brad.
That looks cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally. This one just looks so weird.
Yeah.
And I'm in. Awesome.
Quick shout out
yeah,
to
please.
The Eternal Life of Goldman. I think I feel like I've talked about it a billion times at this point.
I think we
but
talked about
this
it on
is-
our show with Rogan Plays Games.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
And I
that was
think we
before
might have talked about it on
had
the
I touched
last
it at that
episode when you had played the demo
Oh,
briefly, because we were
maybe.
talking about like our plans for Next Fest, I think.
Well, very quickly, this is the front runner for Indie Game of the Year if this comes out in 2026. This game is gas. Like this is like I couldn't ask for a better platformer in this game. Like
Hell yeah.
it's incredible. The gameplay is really inventive. The stories are really cool. The Princess Bride type story going on over the top of it. And it's freaking gorgeous. Some of the best art I've seen in a game since Cuphead. So
Well, it's funny because I think I was listening to, maybe MinMax, and they had mentioned that some of the folks who worked on Cuphead have now gone on to work on this.
oh,
Oh,
That makes
that makes
sense.
sense,
I
yeah.
see the through line. Yeah, this looks incredible. I can't wait to play it. So fingers crossed it comes out this year. Awesome. All right.
Very cool.
I think we are jumping into some quick shout outs. I had two real quick that I wanted to touch on. I played a game called Last Man Sitting from Double Moose Games. This is a roguelite action game, but it's set in this
What?
like futuristic setting, but you're an office worker, and it has this crazy sci-fi story set up where it's like in a world where you're in this sci-fi union, and then you're fighting robots in this crazy PvP roguelite thing where you're on an office chair. Super weird premise, but it was a ton of fun, and you get some crazy power-ups, and it was really wacky and wild, and it's being published by Raw Fury, so that gives me a little confidence in the overall quality long-term, but Last Man Sitting. Wild times.
Silly.
insane.
Also, real quick, shout out Scott Pilgrim EX, which, as of this recording, is out now on all platforms, but I got to play a demo during Steam Next Fest. And as someone who really enjoyed Scott Pilgrim vs. the World back in the day, this is a really, really fun beat-em-up. Wonderful art style, new Anamanaguchi soundtrack, kick-ass. And yeah, they did some more, like, it's pretty open-ended in a sense of there's like different areas you can explore, and kind of the order in which you tackle things is more involved than your standard beat-em-up fare. So if that's your thing, highly recommend. Some other shout-outs from folks. Everything is Crab. Who
Yeah, I just
brought
wanted to give
one?
this a little shout out.
Please do.
Everything is Crab is very much a sort of Vampire Survivors like, except you have direct control over your crab, and as you eat, you evolve. So let's say you start eating a bunch of creatures with tail, you then can, add a tail, or you can add legs or wings, and it affects not only the way your character moves, whether it's slowly or quickly, but also the way your character attacks. And so, look, there are many of these Vampire Survivors clones that are out there, but this one had a nice, cool twist to it that I thought was neat, and I played it for longer than I thought I was going to. So, Everything is Crab, the Animal Evolution Roguelite is the full title on that one.
Sick.
And then I had a second one in there called Crop Deck, and Crop Deck surprised me. It was very much a little gardening game where you had a set of cards and also a grid in front of you where you have to plant certain vegetables, water them, fertilize them in order to make enough money to pay the taxman. Scarecrows give you special abilities for your cards and your playfield, and so it was a neat little game where I don't think there was like buy gems, move, like that sort of progression, but I was kind of like, this is 2 steps away from pay money to advance kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like the good kind, but like if they needed to, could turn on the monetization taps.
Gotcha.
Like if EA made this, it'd be monetized, but since it's being made by an indie team, it's not. And this one's again right around the corner.
Nice.
Yeah, it's giving Plants vs. Zombies
Yeah.
vibes, I'd say, in terms of like UI and presentation, so the EA comparison feels apt. I'm intrigued. Looks cute. Joseph, you had a couple as well to shout out?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out the dungeon experience. This is like a comedic. This is more like a comedy-focused, like adventure game where the jokes are kind of like the gameplay, and the idea is like you're going into like a theme park-esque dungeon experience where like this little crab guy is kind of guiding you through, and there's just like jokes on jokes on jokes. Like even in this little clip you see, there's like a guy who's a table where the glass thing is on top of the guy, where it's just like weird stuff like that. They have moments where the animation turns to anime and like just random stuff. And I always say there's like not that many comedy games that show up in gaming. So whenever there's a comedy game that seems like kind of out there and is taking swings, I always support that. So the demo is wild. Even in the first like one minute of the demo, you're already doing some wild stuff. So I highly suggest checking that one out because it's pretty funny. Like, look at
There's
he's in
a
his
crab
race
in a
car
car
bed.
bed.
The race car bed
Yeah.
is iconic. Yeah, this looks awesome. Yeah, this wasn't on my radar at all. And then I was chatting with friend of the show, Mike Towndrow, and he put me onto it that it's published by Devolver. So an immediate wish list for me.
It seems to have gotten shown off for the first time at Day of the Devs for the Game Awards back in
Okay.
December,
Right
which
on.
is why I was like, why do I know that stupid talking crab?
Sure.
It was in Day of the Devs. Oh, pushing nipples, yes.
That's within the first minute. That's what I meant
There's
by
a
it's
lot
getting
going
crazy.
on. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Wait, I love this
experience.
clip.
Cool.
Wait. Him moving the legs, I'm like, dude, that's so freaking funny.
And just like the character models of everything. Yeah, I just appreciate the tone they're taking. That's fun. Cool. Awesome. Any other shout-outs, honorable mentions, y'all? There were too many demos, but a lot of good stuff out there.
A really, really rapid fire. Wanderberg, very cool. Moving around a castle and fighting other castles. Very odd, but I had a lot of fun. Even though like the demo is pretty rough, I could probably play it for an hour and not get old. Gambonanza is like chess Balatro. That one is fantastic. Sorry, Luke, I'm rattling these off faster
No,
than
go
you can pull
off.
them up.
You're good.
Gumboat
That's
God.
Jacob.
He's on it.
Oh, Jacob's rattling them off. Gumboat God is like Xbox Live Arcade style indie game. I love this. Probably one of my top 5 favorite games that I played for sure. It's just madness, and it
It's like Patapon.
it really was that Xbox. Yeah, it's very like that Xbox 360.
Patapon and Geometry Wars smashed together?
Yeah. This
Very
looks
cool.
cool.
And the last one I'll shout out is Leilu, kind of like a Zelda-like dungeon crawler with like a really cute little toy guy and like this monochromatic art style. I had a lot of fun with this one. This is another one where I'm like, I could see myself playing this whole game because I just had a good time with it.
Yeah, this one looks cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Playdate game. Not a Playdate game, but has that energy in a good way.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, everybody, please go play the other 3,000 demos available during Next Fest. We'll link to all of these in the episode description. A lot of them still have their demos available now, so if there's stuff you want to check out, likely you still can.
Yeah.
Any other good of the order, any other content plugs, y'all? Things you got going on? No? We're chilling? PAX East
Chilling.
in the immediate future. We're excited to hang, play a bunch of games in person. Content to follow, as always. But with that, we're setting our status to away until next time. But before then, I'm going to ask you to do 4 things for us. If you can give us a follow on BlueSky at Crossplay Convos. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, also at Crossplay Convos. Send this podcast to a friend, because that's how people hear about podcasts. And, of course, leave us a review on your podcasting platform of choice, because it really, truly does help. And with that, ready your wish lists, batten down the hatches, and prepare for indie games. Arrgh!